So there are two cities in the center of Ukraine that get almost no attention from foreign visitors, and they both begin with the letter K. Kryvyi Rih, where I'm standing right now, and Kropyvnytsky, which is a city nearby. I'm going to call it unvisited Ukraine because even I haven't been there, and I've been traveling and living in the region for over 10 years. So let's go and pioneer the center, the unvisited middle of Ukraine. Maybe it'll turn out to be the unrecommendable middle of Ukraine, but I'm going to remain optimistic. Поехали.
Tsar Experience.
Kryvyi Rih. Как это? Как город, как душа города?
Кривой Рог так себе город на самом деле.
Kryvyi Rih. It is located on the road from Odessa to Dnipro, two big cities in Ukraine. And I first heard of it because my original Ukrainian language teacher is from here, and also the current president of Ukraine, Zelensky. He was born in Kryvyi Rih, but I had never managed to get around to getting here. It's a little bit tricky. And what is here? Well, the city has about 600,000 people, and it is a mining town and a steel industry center, one of the biggest in Eastern Europe, if not the biggest. And as a result, you have a lot of these quarries, kind of open mining that are all around the city, and the city is kind of pocketed with them, which is interesting. And as a result, the city feels like, maybe 20 little towns put together. I'm right here in the center, but it doesn't look really more central or more grandiose than being out on the outskirts of the city, and there are large green patches of the city where there are no buildings, so a little bit strange. As a result, it is known as the longest city in Europe. They claim it's like 125 kilometers from north to south, but when I looked at the map, it looked closer to 70. So I think there's a little bit of hyperbole there in that. What else can I tell you about Kryvyi Rih? The name, it means crooked horn. I'm not sure if that's going to add a little bit of character to the city or not, but that's what it means. And yeah, the vibe is very, very, for me, post-Soviet. Well, most of the buildings here look like they're built in the Soviet Union, and basically the vibe of the city is very much old school Ukrainian, I would say. So I think it's a city that's definitely not for a novice to Ukraine for that reason, a bit like Dnipro. Yeah, Kryvyi Rih. It's the center of Kierbas and steel and mining in Ukraine. So that's it. That's all I can say about it. Ты профессиональный уже. Давай. Как жизнь тут?
Отлично. Вика, как жизнь? Прекрасно. Это лучше у Вики спросить. Кривой Рог? Хороший город. Да.
Серьезно?
Ну, не самый худший город в Украине, так точно.
Но Одесса, мама лучше.
Конечно. 100%.
Какая разница есть сегодня, чем 10 лет назад?
Открылось сейчас, открылось очень много классных мест, то есть больше открылось там ресторанов, кафе, но очень много молодежи уезжает из Кривого Рога в Киев, поэтому там мало, социализации очень мало, но много классных мест, там какие-то кальянные, кафе, рестораны, но очень мало парков, места, где погулять, потому что это не город для развлечений.
So I've come to a city that is not very well known by its new name, Kropyvnytsky. It was known as Kirovohrad until pretty recently, and the reason for the name change is, Well, in Ukraine, they've been getting rid of all the old communist names of the cities. Behind me is the first Ukrainian theater where Kropivnitsky, the guy that they named the city after, performed. And here you have really nice, cozy atmosphere walking through the center. The architecture is quite nice. It's really a contrast to Kryvyi Rih and its mines and its industry and its quarries that were in the center of the city. Here it's more traditional provincial Ukrainian feel. People are speaking more Ukrainian language as well here. The city has quite a cute center, nice pedestrian street to walk through with architecture that's pre-Soviet. At least that wasn't all destroyed. And it's a nice tranquil town away from everywhere, the middle of Ukraine, to come and visit. So definitely got some potential here, I see.
Как, вкусно?
Мне нравится, а тебе? О,
А
видишь?
как Кропивницький? Кропивницький как?
Ну, набагато гарніше, ніж Кривий Ріг. Подобається. Архітектура набагато яскравіша. Вона хоч тут є по великому рахунку. В Кривому Розі нічого немає.
So I've come about half an hour by train. I actually took a taxi, so it was about an hour and 10 minutes with the traffic to Kamyansky. And I wasn't expecting much because I thought it'd be as industrial as Dnipro, and it definitely looks extremely industrial. But wow, looking behind me, it's kind of a bit of a hidden gem here. Very nice square with some churches, and then actually there's a Catholic church just a little bit further down, maybe about a 4 or 5 minute walk. Here we've got obviously some Orthodox churches, they're just ringing the bells. So yeah, hidden gem. I can't believe it. Hidden gem near to Dnipro, at least in the square. So the center of Ukraine, what can I say about it? You know, I think you could divide this region into two parts, very kind of distinct, and it's not geographical, it's more about the types of cities that and their histories that you go to. So I would divide them into roughly two categories. You have cities like where I am now, Kamyansky and Kryvyi Rih, which are industrial cities, got a lot of quarries and resembles a little bit the north of England. You know, the people are a bit different because they came from, I think the main thing is it was industrialized, it seems, by the Soviet Union. So people came from all over the Soviet Union, so you have that particular mix from all the republics. They use Russian as the lingua franca, didn't hear very much Ukrainian. It's got definitely a bit of a rougher feel, a bit edgy, I would say. And the architecture in general, this beautiful part of the city of Kamyansky aside, is very grim and uninspiring. And definitely it's for a type of guy who wants a more edgy, post-Soviet feel to the city, a bit rough around the edges, definitely going to be a bit more tense as an experience than going to, say, Kropivnitsky, which felt a bit more provincial Ukrainian. So the people there, it seems like the city had been industrialized earlier, judging by the architecture and everything. It had a lot more Tsarist architecture, and as a result, the people there, different mix, not as Soviet probably as well in terms of its ethnic composition, and the locals definitely spoke a lot more Ukrainian than, say, in Kryvyi Rih, for example. So well, it's about probably 50-50 when I walked into places whether people spoke to me in Russian or in Ukrainian, and definitely had that more provincial feel to it. It was a good bit friendlier. It wasn't as tense, it wasn't as edgy, it didn't feel as dodgy as, say, being in a place like Kryvyi Rih. And I think it's, you know, if you're traveling this region, you probably are going to be more attracted to one or the other type of city. Either you're looking for that more post-Soviet edgy feel, a little bit more Gothic style, or you're looking for that more quaint, friendly, provincial Ukrainian vibe, and you're going to find that obviously in those cities like Kropyvnytsky rather than Kryvyi Rih, or maybe here Kamyatsky. So that is what I think of unvisited Ukraine. Should you be visiting it? Well, if you're looking for either of those types of cities, then I think it is worth it. If you're obviously spending a lot of time in Ukraine and maybe you live here, then you can come to unvisited Ukraine and check it out. Otherwise, definitely not for a newbie to the country.
Подписывайтесь на канал, ставьте лайки и не забывайте нас смотреть.
Tsar Experience.